Right now we're watching Mark Swatton, the greatest B rider in the history of Zwift, in ZwiftPower.com. 35 riders today doing 3 laps of the Volcano flat. I did this race this morning. B race, B category. My race, we had about 60 starters. Tried everything we could to shake, but nothing happened. Wound up with 40 at the sprint. It all came down to the final 15-second sprint. So I'm expecting that today, but we're gonna watch 3 laps of Volcano Flat. I have my Wheaties hat on, Breakfast of Champions. I have my dirt shirt on, my mustache man with the American flag, and I'm just hanging out. So I think this will be a little more relaxed today, a little more chill. So if you see anything going on, if you want to talk about anything, any tactics, any Zwift strategy, you know I always am down for some talking, some chatting. See an early move from Wes Ooms. A minute and 40 into the race, we'll give him a ride on. I expect a lot of these little moves to happen, but nothing to really stick because it's so flat. I mean, it's so flat. And it's not a course that people are unfamiliar with. Some of the flat new courses, a lot of the riders are unfamiliar with, but this is a course that everyone knows. It's the OG Volcano Flat. A couple places to look out for coming out of this tunnel is one of them, and then the 2-tier on the backside of the volcano is another spot to look out for. A lot of familiar names: Andrew Gajda, Ned Bowen. I feel like all these people are my best friends just because I say their names every week, but in reality, I've never met them in my life. So I know Simon Nielsen. I think he did great in that Fusion ECT race. Here's Patrick Westing. I think Patrick did the race in the B category with me earlier today. So I guess he's doubling down. The MIG, I saw him chatting up earlier, but I did see a little beef going on in the chat before the race. So I hope we start beefing. That's what I'm really excited for. Let's keep clicking. I think Wes Ooms is back in the pack. I expect it to be kind of slow. Everyone's probably trying to get the jitters out early on. The Bs are also doing 3 laps. C's and the D's are doing 2 laps. So you know me, I'm covering all the races. I'm covering all the cats. Here go the D's. Let's wait till they kind of form up. There are a lot of D's. So 25 D's, which is a lot for them. Here are the C's. Let's click up to the C pack. Another pretty good bunch of the C's. They're only doing 2 laps, so it's going to be a lot shorter for them. I see a lot of TFC guys, a lot of Cryogen guys. You know, C's are right around that 2.5 to 3.2 FTP zone. But let me check out the B's. Oh, some big B names. Greg O'Malley, I'm familiar with this name. Ride with him a lot, ride against him. Absolutely fierce competitor in the B category. Any other B riders I'm familiar with? I know Jason Mutchler. Everyone knows Jason Mutchler. There's a huge story on Jason Mutchler on Zwift.com, the real Zwift. If you don't know the story of Jason Mutchler, go on Zwift.com and read the history of his time in the United States Armed Forces, his time being a parent. Just one of the best stories out there. He's back. He was training hard under Coach Shane, so it's good to see him there. Here's Ross Irwin. Here's another one of my wife is texting me because it's pouring and it's thundering and lightning out, and my kids are freaking out right now. They're supposed to be napping inside, but they're freaking the hell out. But we got a broadcast. We're having fun. This is the morning grind. This is the donut race. Again, everyone's probably going to be hanging out together. You're going to see some of the smarter, more savvy guys holding low wattage at the back, and this is exactly what's happening. Here's O'Malley at 2.7 on the back. You know, I always like to point this out, and let's click to the front. So that was a 2.7 at the back, and look at some of these numbers up front. Here's a 5.1, here's a 3.5. So there's a huge discrepancy between the front rider and the back rider. There's no need for it ever. If you can ride in the back, ride. If you're going up a hill, you're moving up. If you're coming down or it's flat, you're moving back. So those are basically the simple rules. I know I always like to say the same thing, but yeah, so this is us. We're just hanging out today. I know there's big Zwift events, big Zwift races, so this is kind of more just chill. Feel free to comment. I'll talk about anything. We can talk about any race. If anyone wants to do the time trial with Dirt tomorrow, we have a morning team, an afternoon team, and a night team. So A, B, or C. We got spots for everyone. Tons of fun. It's so hard because you're giving it everything you have, and suddenly a teammate goes and they need you to support it. So it's like everyone's relying on you to push, but you're dying because you're pushing all out. It's an impossible fun event. So here's the Bs. They're just pushing it over this hill, but everyone's still together. Let's click back up to the A's. I'm going to go on lots of tangents today. I can already feel it because, like I said, it's Volcano Flat. I did it this morning. It was so hard to even get 1 or 2 riders to drop. I expect the pack to remain intact. A lot of BRT guys. I knew before the race there was going to be a big BRT showing, so we have to give them all ride-ons. Nick Hurd, we always see him in this time slot. We'll give him a ride-on. Cryogen rider. All these names we see week in and week out, and they're all great to see. They're all great guys. 26, I expect there to still be at least 20 into the finish, and I know a lot of these riders expect that. This is a weird race also with the power-up, so it's going to be 25% Ghost, Burrito, Van, and Feather. So it's like there's no arrow, okay, and there's no XP, so you're going to get a power-up twice, after the first lap and after the second lap. And you're definitely going to get something. So most of the time you're saving a power up because it's better than getting XP or getting nothing, but you're going to get a power up. Do you want an aggressive one with, you know, a Feather or a Ghost, or do you want sort of a defensive one with a Burrito or a Van? But if you have a Van, it's hard to kind of get out of that sticky slipstream. So the Feather might be good, but the Feather's only 15 seconds, and this is kind of a downhill sprint, so the Feather might not be the best. So, I mean, it's usually basic strategy power-ups. It's usually arrow or bust, but if arrow is not viable or it's not available, it takes some more thinking and some more gaming. So this is going to be fun with the power-ups. There's only 2 opportunities. There are no sprint or KOM banners. And it's only going to be after the first lap for the C's and the D's, and after the first and second for the A's and B's. So here we are with the A's. Let me click back to the B's. All the B's are looking good. I see a lot of heart rates in the 130s, 140s. Here's a high one, 160. Nothing crazy quite yet. The pack is really, really tightly bunched. O'Malley is just, look at 104, 105. That's just an unbelievable heart rate. I like to kind of reference Zwift Power sometimes when I see these numbers, but this is just awesome to see. Dirt, Cryogen, TFC. I did see BRT in the B pack. I see Kirkmeyer. All these guys trying to make something happen. A lot of these long stretches, riders will get antsy, so moves will happen no matter what, but the highest likelihood is that they all come back together. Jason Muchler still there. He's our man. We're all rooting for him, even though we're kind of biased. Let's click back to the C's. Okay, here are the C's. Still a big pack. This is the last C rider, about 23. So there's like mid-20s for the A's, B's, C's, and D's, which is a good turnout for everyone. I kind of like the separate categories more because everyone is in your ability. You know, it's a little more manageable for the B's and the C's and the D's when you're riding with like ability riders. So here go the A's, and they're going to go to the volcano for this uphill, and this is the one spot I want to stay on the lookout for because this is the one opportunity for a breakout to happen. I do want to see you want to see a breakout work, but you also don't want to create a breakout situation too much because, I mean, your best skill is your ability to draft in the pack. That's your best skill. So if you can break away, you have a less, let me slow down. You have a less likelihood of breaking away and it working in a C D or B pack because everyone is in these constraints of watts per kilogram. However, in the A's, you can go 4 up to 6.5. So that 2.5 watt per kilogram FTP range is so much more massive than the 0.8 ranges in the C's, D's, and B's. That's why in the A's, a lot of times breakaways happen. There's a lot more surges and recoveries because all of these riders have way different abilities, whereas the other categories, the abilities are much closer together. I don't even know. Okay, let's get back to the race. Okay, I'm wearing my Wheaties hat. I'm feeling good. I had breakfast of champions this morning for the morning grind. Nick Hurt is on the front at 5.1. His heart rate's only 148, but no one is going to follow him. The hill is coming in about 10 seconds. So the last lap, starting right about where Nick is, I would say in 20 seconds, that's going to be about 4 minutes from that spot to the finish line. So in theory, it could be hard for 4 minutes. That's the maximum amount of pain that's going to happen on the last lap. If you can stay in the pack, it could be a 4-minute power test for these riders. Here they go up the first test. This is the first incline. It's not long, it's very short. You'll see brief red numbers, I'm predicting, but nothing that's gonna really cause a breakaway. Here's Mark Swatton putting out close to 800 watts. Heart rate's climbing up 170. He's leading up the front, and that's what you want to do. You want to move up as the incline comes, and then as it comes back down, you want to start to move back down, and that's exactly what he's doing. You're letting other riders fill the gap while you can recover. Here's a little downhill. I expect more riders to come through with Mark, and then he's going to surge up ahead. So here's another incline. Mark's moving up, and once he crests this hill right here, he's going to kind of lay off the watts and let all these other riders fill in front of him. And you can see the watts coming down. You saw him in the 600s. He's closing this gap right now. And now you can see the watts coming down, down, down in the 200s, 2.4, 3.0. While a lot of these other riders, they're all still catching up in the 4s and the 5s, and everyone's kind of recovering at this moment now. There are still 24. Our last count was 26. I think there actually might still be 26 riders in here. I'm just not catching the last one. Or 25. Okay. So 25 are going to make it through the first lap, and I only think one was dropped, which is a big feat in Zwift racing, is only one rider dropped. That just goes to show how flat and how bunched up this pack is. Let's go back to the Bs. Okay, so here are the Bs. They're going to go over that same moment again. I don't know if they'll quite hit any red numbers, but let's see. Let's kick up to the front. Here's Sebastian. I think Sebastian did the morning race also with us. Here's Ross Irwin. Uh-oh, I'm getting texted. Okay, sorry, it's still my kids. It's really, really lightning and thundering here, and my kids are wide awake when they should be napping. Okay, here's Carl Copenhaver. Carl's a regular in this time slot. He was here for all the team celebration series. Sebastian, it looks like, is leading. I think Heinemann won something. He won some race that I was in, some really big race, so I know he can do it in the final stretch. He's a name to look out for. I think this B category might be just as exciting as this A category today because of the names that are in here. Where's O'Malley? Okay, here he is. Here's O'Malley. He's a little far back. I want him to close that gap right now, and that's what he's thinking also. I don't like that 3 meters that's just in front of him because you put so much trust in the rider in front of you. And if this Cooper right here, something happens, he has a power dropout or whatever, then that kind of screws up O'Malley's whole race. So O'Malley is still forced to chase over that hill. But between him, between Mutchler, between Burgett, between Ross Irwin, Copenhaver, Schmidt, all of these guys, Heinemann, all these guys have such an exciting finish. Okay, but I think all of them are still together. Maybe here's O'Malley. I just want to make sure O'Malley is still on that pack because I know he's probably the favorite in this race, but he's riding so close to the edge right now. Let's check out this rear view right now. I think he's going to be okay. So there are about 20 riders here in this B category. Let's see the C's. They should be going over the hill right now. There they go. So here's the front C's. They're going over the first half right now. Here's Mould from TFC leading the bunch over. His heart rate is 183. That's really high. There he goes. A lot of Cryogen. All these names are Cryogen. A lot of Cryogen versus TFC. This is a real throwdown between these two teams in this slot. So Cryogen, TFC. Here's a 3R rider, Kroll. There they go over the second climb, and they're only doing 2 laps, so they might try something more than the 3 lappers, because each lap will be 17 minutes, 16 to 17 minutes. So 2 laps will be 35 minutes, but 4 laps will be over 50. So there, I'm just clicking up to get those A's again. Okay, so there are the C's. Here are the B's. Okay, and here's the A rider. Okay, so here's the front A pack. So they went over that first banner. You're gonna see a lot of these power-ups being used. I don't think a lot of the riders are gonna know exactly what to do. If you have a burrito, if you have a ghost, if you have, you know, the feather, it's gonna be a lot of trial and error over the next few weeks, few months. I believe the ghost and the burrito only last 10 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like I said, we're just kind of hanging out today. I know there's some big Zwift races. I don't expect any huge firework moves. Some people were beefing earlier in this race, so I want to kind of get in the right category. If people start beefing, that's the big excitement that should go on. But outside of that, kind of a chill course, kind of a chill race. We're in the middle of August. It's in the off season. We're just having fun, just enjoying, you know, the camaraderie of Zwift. Here's Moxon on BRT, enjoying the downhill, but he's trying to get the big MiG from BRT. So here we have 2 BRT riders working together. Here's Moxon. Oh, got him. Okay, there's Moxon and MiG working together, and I think Mark Swatton. Is he gonna close it? Is he not? I don't think Moxon has anything left right now. I mean, these riders are still holding 5.2, 5.3, but that's just not quite enough because this pack is moving so fast. They're going 30 plus miles an hour on a 0% gradient. You really have to go, you know, 5, 6, 7 and hold those numbers to break away on a place like this. The places to break away are uphills. Unfortunately, everyone knows that, and unfortunately, this is the course that everyone knows that because this is the volcano. So there they are. There's still 25 of these A's. We're 1/3 through the race. Let's check out these B's. Here's Thomas Ervik with Schmidt. Just holding down the fort with these 20 B's. The B's are slightly more whittled down than the A's. Only 18 of them left. And then here are the C's, and they're going through the finishing banner for their one and only time. So whatever power up they get is the one that they're using. Whether they're saving it for the end, whether they're using it to break away, whether they're using it just to hold on to the pack, this is the one that they got. There are still a big bunch of these, and there's some B's also mixed in, which definitely creates another element of suspense and surprise. Okay, 25 C riders going under the start finish banner just now. In about 18 minutes, they're going to finish their race while the A's and the B's have one more lap. Okay, just clicking up ahead. All right, the A's should be emerging from this underwater any minute now. Here's Andrew Gajda. Andrew's always there. He has the power to finish. He has the power to close. Wetstein, all these guys have the power to close, but I think Nielsen is probably the favorite. Here they go coming out of the water tunnel. Not quite any red numbers. It looks like everyone is just staying together. Let's find Mark Swan, because I know he's moving up right now because this is an uphill. We can follow Hall. We can see Nick Hurd at 7.0. So let me quickly look while they've just crested that. So if we click this live tab, we should be able to figure out. Okay, check out this. I got an overlay. Hey! Okay, so if we can sort, do you see my cursor? We can sort by 15-second best. So the 15-second best is going to be Waldemar and Nielsen. And so this Waldemar is going to be able to 15-second sprint at 15.7. And then it's going to be Nielsen, and then a couple 14s and high 13s. So let's try to find Waldemar and Nielsen. Those are going to be our two favorites for a sprint. This is for a sprint. So here's Nielsen. We're on him. I don't see the other Polish team rider who we were checking out from Zwift Power. Maybe he was there because that was the live tab of Zwift Power. Oh, here he is. Oh, wait. Oh, so he just fell off the pack. Oh, we'll give him a ride on. So he had the highest sprint at 15.7. So now the favorite is going to be Simon Nielsen. And I believe, I mean, a lot of times when you're racing, you can do this stuff while you're racing. So like right now, you know it's going to be a lull in the race. You can see all these numbers, 2.9, 3.1. You can kind of grab your app, kind of be on Zwift Power, scroll through these numbers, sort by 15-second, and see who these names are. So you got Babbage, Nielsen, and Waldemar, and those are the three guys that you need to look out for. So, and then you're kind of back to the race. You were holding that 3.0. Nothing really happened. So now you know your names are. If you're making a move, if you're going for a break early, you have to make a break without those guys in it, without the names of the Nielsens, the Waldemar, and the guys who can sprint. So you're thinking about all of these things while you're racing. These are sort of higher level tactics that, you know, we're always talking about. If you're on Discord with your BRT team, with your TFC team, someone is, you know, the team car, someone is looking at Zwift Power, tracking it, tracking these numbers, looking at your heart rate, looking at Wetstein's heart rate 166 versus Henderson's 146. So there's so much data available. And here's Nielsen. He must have heard us just talking about him. So there it goes at 8.2. This is a big move because this is uphill. So this is a 1% move. Who's going to go with him? Gajah's not. Everyone's just sort of picking it up a little bit, but no one's quite closing it. Here's Santi Amantini. He will just grab his wheel, and then Hurd and Wetstein. That might have been a move just to soften the legs, but if I'm Simon Nielsen, I'm also looking at Zwift Power, and I know that I have the best sprint. So if I'm Nielsen, I know that I'm the guy to beat. I want to kind of sit in the pack and let the other guys work for me. If there are any other Fusion riders in here, this is a great time to act as a domestique, to act as a protector for this rider right here. I saw Ned, but I just missed Ned right now. So that, I think, got everyone's heart rate up a little bit just for this incline. If you're trying to catch the pack off guard, now would be the time to move because everyone is just on high alert and the adrenaline is kind of dying down. Here they go again. This is the time for a counter move. But I don't think anyone has the legs right now or is willing to risk it, you know, with 25 minutes left in the race. Okay, so they're still going to be together. Let's get back to these Bs. Here's Dean from Cryogen, Ervik from Dirt, Sulzer from Switzerland. All right, clicking back. O'Malley is in O'Malley's favorite spot, right on the back, comfortably at a 107 heart rate. All right, just for fun, let's check out O'Malley because this is some crazy heart rate numbers. Okay, so here's B. If we go to O'Malley, and I'm not like trying to call anyone out, I'm just genuinely interested. So 108 heart rate. You can look at these average numbers. He's really, really comfortable right now. So they must be going very, very slow right now. He can get all the way up to 170s and he can average in the 150s. So a 108 heart rate is basically not even pedaling right now. I don't even know if it's zone 1. It's probably gray or below for O'Malley. So a lot of these other guys are in the 140s, 150s. Let's look at Mutchler, because if anyone has a low, it's Mutchler. Mutchler is in the 150s. So just to compare, I know Mutchler has a really low heart rate just naturally. If you look, you can see he can average 94, 122, 109, 120. Okay, so here the race is 140s, 130s. So that's a low heart rate relative to some of the other riders. So, and to see Mutchler in the 150, 148, I know he's working hard. So I know this is a tough race. Here's Ross Irwin, Sebastian, Burgett, all these guys. They're just gonna go over this hill that we saw the A's go over. Just clicking around, seeing what else is going on. These same 18 riders. There's Ross Irwin in the Trek Segafredo neon yellow jersey. They're going over this hill right now. No one's quite pushing it. Oh, Schmidt with a little red numbers up to 700, 800 watts. That's a move. So that's a real move. Is anyone going to go with that? But he backs off right away to 1.5, 2.8. No one's closing it. His own teammate's closing it, which is good for the rest of the pack. And everyone is still together. So let's move up back to the A's. And then, so we'll do the A's, and then the C's and the D's will finish this race. We'll cover them. This is a new jersey. That one looks pretty cool. I've never seen that one. MDCA maybe? Not this rider. MDCC. Yeah, this is a new Babbage. I've never seen this jersey before. And after, 20,000 miles on the game, you usually see all the jerseys. So that's pretty cool. MDCC. Yeah, I've never seen that one. I don't know. Just a cool tidbit. Really cool. All right, so here they go. Second time up this little hill. There's a couple feather power-ups. Some feathers. A burrito in the front from Gajda. Nick Hurd is also in the front. Here's Nielsen holding 8.5 right on Swatton. Swatton with that 122 RPM. He's really spinning up this hill. Very comfortable. Okay, still together. I'm waiting for someone to do something, but like I said, this morning there were 60 of us who started, and there were about 40 or 50 in the sprint finish. So it's almost impossible to split this pack up to force a break in this sort of course. There's a couple van power-ups being used right now. That's a tough one. So Nielsen used a van power-up, and he's the sprinter. So if you're a sprinter, I gotta think the van or the feather are your two, winning power-ups. So the burrito, it doesn't help you win a sprint. I guess if you know you have the best power, and you're in the front, the burrito might be the best, because that's like game theorying the other riders. But I definitely don't think Ghost if you're just a raw sprinter, because you don't need to be invisible. So I would want to rule out Ghost. I would want to, I don't know, feather on this downhill. It's 15 seconds, but you lose 1 kilogram. Again, if you know you have the best sprint, I guess you don't need the feather. So I guess you save the draft or the burrito if you're just a raw sprinter. I don't know. This is just me trying to figure out what to use if you know you have the best sprint. I don't know. It's interesting problem, but it's a good problem because we never have to think about these things. We either have the aero power up or we don't have the aero power up. But now we have to think about these things. Obviously, if you're trying to make a move before the sprint, it's gonna be the ghost or the burrito. But if you know you're sprinting for the win, what do? Do you have other teammates feather while you van on top of them? Or do you feather while teammates behind you burrito? I don't know. That's cool for more team tactics. That sounds like a lot of fun. But if it's just you going for a raw sprint, I don't know. I guess the van, because it's 30 seconds. But will you get sticky drafted behind someone else? I don't know. Again, all questions. I'm interested to see what power-ups will win and what people use and save. So here's Santi Amantini holding about 400 watts at a 170 beats per minute. He's got about 3 seconds on the rest of the field. He is from the country of, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but he's got a 20-minute power of 5.0, so this rider can make something happen. Here goes Babbage with that beautiful New Jersey that we've never seen before, and the MiG is right on him from BRT covering that. And here they go. They're going to go under lap 2 of 3. So this is 2/3 done with the course. Okay, I think all of these riders are going to stay together. And let's check out what happened in the Bs. Were there any casualties? Thomas Ervik, a potential casualty. I love our boy Thomas. This is our man. Okay, so Thomas, unfortunately, the sole casualty. O'Malley, heart rate's creeping up there. There's Gould. But it looks like only Thomas Ervik possibly fell off the pack. He's still working at 4.3, trying to get on. He's definitely not giving up right now. But let's get to the C's, because this is going to be their final. I don't know if you guys can hear, like, it's monsooning outside where I am right now. It's like beyond thundering. Okay, so we're on the C's. Let's check this out. The C's are going to go over this hill, and then we have about 5 minutes for these C's to the finish line. We're going to be sticking with these C's until it's go time. All right, so we're watching a C race. 2 laps. This is the second last lap of the Volcano Flat. One of the flattest, most familiar courses in the game. Everyone knows what to expect. Everyone knows the hill is coming. You got to go on the hill, but you got to still save some for that final sprint, because it's not likely that something will work on this final hill. The watts are going to come up. The heart rates are going to come up. Let's see what we got. Here they go. Feathers being used. People not saving their power-ups for the end. Using a feather. Ellis is leading them up. Here is Masia leading them up. And Hutch. 5.1. 170 beats per minute. This C finish is going to be tight. We have over 20 riders. We're following the C pack. It looks like they're all together, a little strung out, but no gaps quite yet. Here's Botham. Give him a ride on. Not quite going to make it up there. Appleton, he's trying to do everything he can to get on that draft. And there he is. He just caught the final wheel. So there's Appleton, the 18th rider in this pack. They're all together. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Cryogen? Is it going to be TFC? Is it going to be CLS? I don't know, but it's going to be exciting. So they're going through the volcano. They have about 3 minutes, about 1.2 miles to the finish line. We're following the C's. I'm on Zwift Power right now. I can see who's there. Let's get back to the front. Mould. I know Masia is a B rider, so we're going to ignore Masia. Okay, so here's Mould from TFC. This is a real showdown from TFC versus Cryogen. Cryogen, tons of British flags. I see an English flag, Norway, Norwegian. I'm familiar with Norway from last week's Fusion ECT League race. All right, I wonder who had their Wheaties today. This race is not sponsored by Wheaties, although I am wearing my Wheaties hat. I repeat, not sponsored, but we are open to any Wheaties collaboration. Johnson, CLS. If I'm in the C ride right now, I need to think, shake it out, deep breaths. Here we go. We have less than a mile left. It's going to come down to a sprint. I know there are 18 riders here. It doesn't matter what anyone else's power is. All I need to worry about is my power and getting my heart rate down as low as possible at this moment. So if I'm Kehoe, I'm in the perfect spot. If I'm Whitley, I'm in the perfect spot. If I'm Appleton, Ellis, I'm in a great spot. I'm going 2.5 or below. I'm taking deep breaths. I'm getting my cadence up a little bit just to flush whatever's left in my legs. If I'm in the front, this is not where I want to be. I'm only in the front if I'm working for a teammate at this moment. But they're going to go over this little crest, this little bump right here. And then it's going to be a showdown of power. And I want to see who has the ghost, who has the power-ups, who has the feather, who's using the draft. Okay, so here the C's go. We have about 0.8 left. Once they get to the top, this will be 1K left in the race. Is anyone going to go early? The watts are climbing, but nothing too extreme. Here's Pose at 6.1, 6.2. It's an early move, but I think it's too little too late right now. The pack is too big, and they're going to pick up speed on this downhill. Okay, so now is the moment. I'm taking deep breaths. I'm going under this final rock arch. If I'm Ellis, I need to get that wheel right now. This is not a good spot for Ellis. He might have just missed it right now. He's doing 300 plus watts just to get on at 4.0. Okay, it's very, very strung out. Need to worry about positioning. Need to gear down. Need to start picking it up. You need to hold around 4, but don't give it everything you got. It's not time to sprint yet. It's not time for that 7.5 Hayward, that 9.9. I still think it's early, but there he goes at 5.3. It's going to be Hayward at Cryogen is going to lead him out 300 meters to go. But this isn't it yet. We still have a long 300 meters to go, and I don't see any power up yet. Ralph from TFC is on his wheel, 6.9. Hayward with another kick, more red. So it's going to be Hayward. Is Ralph going to be able to get it? I don't think anyone's going to get around Hayward. It's Mould from TFC. Mould gets around Hayward, so TFC calls it at the line with a 204 heart rate. Mould, then Hayward. It was TFC Cryogen 141. Okay, so back to me. It was 1 TFC, 2 Cryogen, 3 TFC, 4 Cryogen. I mean, that was a showdown between the races. All right, let me find this A category again. Just give me a second. Bear with me. Oh, here's Andrew Gajda. Okay, we're good to go. That was much easier than I thought. Okay, so there's Andrew. Should we try to roll the dice and get this D finish? Let me see if I can find Lucija. Okay, there's 10th place in the D's. Okay, here's Vinksel. I know she's in the front pack, so here they go. The D's. Who is this? This is Rollins from Cryogen. I know the D Cryogen team is big. So here's... These are tough names, man. Okay, so here's Moraes from Cryogen, mixed in with some C's. I know Lucija Vinksel from the Dirt team. So it's Dirt, TFC, Cryogen again with this D finish. There are 5 Ds in here. Let's see if I can find the live tab of this. Okay, so there is Sinelnik, Rollins, and Moraes from Cryogen, and there is Vinksel, who I think might be a C, but she weighs so little, so I don't know where that falls in the category. So it's going to be a sweep for the Cryogen D team. We have riders ranging from 110 kilograms all the way to 48 kilograms. So this is a huge variation between riders' weights, riders' age. This is good to see. So here's Rollins cranking out 350 watts at 3.0. I just want to catch this D finish because this is the front D pack. There are 4 Cryogen riders and 1 dirt rider in this D pack. There's also some C's mixed in here, but it's really going to be for the season of D's. Okay, so here they go. This is that half-mile marker, is this rock arch. We're going to be a half mile to go. And after this, we're still going to cover the A and the B finish. So I'm going to cover everyone, give everyone some good airtime, some shout outs. Okay, Cryogen. Sinelnik, Ride On, done. Marace, Cryogen, South Africa. Rollins, Cryogen, United Kingdom. And then we have Vinxel, Dirt. What country? I'm not sure what country that is. Okay, and there goes Vinxel at 8.4 at 400 watts. She's going early. 9.0, 300 meters left. And here's Marace at 11 at 900 watts. So this is a battle of the power. Is he going to get it at the end? I think Marace is going to nip it at the line at 8.0. And then Bestwick, and then it's going to be Vinxel and Bestwick. So let me move back to those A's and the B's. Okay, so here we go. Mark Swatton, Simon Nielsen, the Big Mig, Andrew Gajda, Hall, Babbage, Ned Bowen. All the boys are here. Everyone's ready to rock and roll. Still 24. No one's budged. Not a move has been made. 24 riders left in this A category. We are on lap 3 of 3, the morning grind, summer series. Going downhill to the volcano. Volcano will be the last uphill, the last push for a move. Is anyone going to do it? There will be a slight lull before the storm. Let me see what's going on with the B's quickly. There's O'Malley, so I know we're in the front pack. 16 B's. Thomas, we saw, was the last casualty on that last volcano climb, so nothing has been done since. Muchler is still there. Burgett is still there. O'Malley, Heinonen is still there. All of these riders can close. All of these have reliable closing 15-second speeds. Okay, back up to the front. Okay, here's Mills. They should finish at about 48, 49 minutes. So that'll give you a little perspective of how much we got. We're just kind of doing a chill stream today. I know there's some big Zwift events, some real official Zwift stuff going on. So this is kind of just for fun. You know, we're in midsummer. We're having fun at the morning grind, having our coffee, having our donuts, just watching a Zwift race, just hanging out at a Zwift race. Feel free to stop by. Next week probably won't do it because of the men's Zwift classics, but every week beyond that, in perpetuity, we'll be doing this race. Jump in. We can talk about anything. I'm like a sucker for tactics. I'm a student of Zwift. I love talking about tactics, strategy, team strategy, individual strategy, courses. So if you have any questions about anything, how to get better at Zwift racing, how to enjoy it more, I'm all ears. I can talk about it forever and ever. Yeah, I mean, I do it just because it's fun. That's like the main reason I do it. It's just because I have fun. I wake up, I want to do it. It's, you know, some of the most fun I do all day. So I look forward to races. I talk about the courses. I try to look up and study the courses. I try to learn new courses quickly, like the new Sequoias course. I really, really like it. I'm a big fan of this Titans expansion. The desert was okay for me because it's just all flat and it provided no strategy beyond the aesthetics, which are beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but like there was nothing beyond that. There's no hills. There's just completely flat wasteland of 5 miles. But the Sequoias, I'm a big, big fan of. So I love to talk about it. I am excited for the first race on that course. Here's Nick Hurd, 4-second gap on the last climb. Right now, it's about 4 minutes to the finish line for these A riders. 7.4, 8.2. This is his move. I believe this is what he's going to do to try to win this race. There's Swatton at 7.8. A couple feather power-ups which are being used now. I'm not quite sure about for these riders. Nielsen noticeably did not use a power-up. He's absolutely saving something in the bank. We don't know. Here's Nellis with a burrito. I don't know. I don't know. They're just killing my brain right now. Is that the time to use the burrito? Is it not? I don't know. My brain is going to explode because I just told you I love analyzing this and I just don't know the answer. McEwen, the sole casualty. Moxon's going to hold on to the wheel. There's going to be 23 riders left for this final sprint. The favorite has to be Nielsen. Someone has a ghost power up. I know it. Someone's going to try to go early. Who is it going to be? All of these riders can do it. I know Mark Swatton can close any race. It doesn't matter what his power number is. I know he's a closer. I know Wettstein is a closer. Ned, we've seen him win B races. We've seen him perform well in A races. Gajda, Wes Ooms is still there. All of these guys are known to close. I know on paper Nielsen is the favorite, but when it comes down to it, in the heat of the moment, I don't know. I want to put my money on a closer over than someone who has the numbers. So everyone here has experience. Everyone here knows what to do. 1 mile left from this point. About 2 minutes or less to the finish line. Who's it going to be? Okay. Deep breaths, deep breaths. We're going to find these A riders. Okay, there's Kuhn. Okay, so there's Nielsen. Okay. Namaste. Okay, Lexi Lightning is in the front. Again, like I said earlier, if I'm in the pack right now, I'm moving back a little bit. I'm shaking the legs out. I'm taking a deep breath. Every 1, 2, 3 beats per minute, I can lower my heart rate. Is another beat I can spread at the end of the race. So deep breaths, getting those watts down, getting those numbers low. I keep clicking the wrong people. Okay, Nellis at 2.5. His heart rate's coming down. You can see it ticking down from 146 to 145. Here's Greenlaw from Cryogen without a heart rate monitor. Hurd, we saw him, I think, in the 160s. His heart rate is coming down nicely. Swatton also. Okay, so right now is the moment where you go with any moves no matter what. So is anyone going to make a move? You have to follow the wheel this time because this is the final spread. The final stretch. This is the final kick home. I see someone up front. Nellis at 8.0. Just might be following the wheels. No one's free. Nelson's holding that perfect position. Not quite in first position, but holding wheels in top 5 position. There goes Santi Amani. Santi. Just a fake out. That was a fake out from Santi. Okay, let's check out positioning. A lot of van power is being used now. It's a full 30 seconds. It's still a little early for a van power to be used all the way to the finish line. Big numbers being held, 7s, but no one quite has that 12, 13 plus number. Oh my God. Okay, we're good. Cox, Schultz, Wettstein, the MiG. Here's Swatton. He's coming around the front. There's Swatton, but there's Nielsen. Is it going to be Nielsen? Is it going to be Swatton? Oh no. It's going to be Cox. Cox, followed by Nielsen, followed by Schultz. So it's going to be BRT from 1-3. Cox, Nielsen, Schultz. So even though Nielsen had that best number, Cox out-jostled him at the end. So it was Cox from BRT, Nielsen, and then Schultz, also BRT. So BRT really did phenomenal in that final stretch. Okay, here they are, the B riders. The final category, the B category. O'Malley holding 12th position. A couple riders have fallen off. Sebastian, Soli, and Thompson of Cryogen. 11 riders left. O'Malley still comfortably in zone 1 or zone 2. 129 heart rate. Muchler, 162. He's hurting. Heinonen, 172, 317 watts. It's really going to come down to the finish for all these riders. Taylor, Gould, Haar, Kirkmeyer. I'm sure you know the finish by now. Left turn through the tunnel, up a slight hill, left, sharp left turn, down to the sprint finish. Everyone's coming down. Heart rate's 2.8, 2.7. Carl is in there. He's ready for the finish. 158 heart rate. Ross Irwin, 161. Deep breaths. Gould. Heinonen. I think he went long in the last race I did. I think we did the race on Saturday together, and he absolutely crushed it. This is going to be an exciting one. 11 riders in the speed category. 12 riders in the speed category. O'Malley, perfect positioning right now. O'Malley, Schmidt, Copenhagen, Mutchler, Burgett, all of these riders are in perfect position. I know Burgett has a huge 15-second sprint. This is going to be big. All right, there's 4 cryogen riders and there's 3 dirt riders together. Who is it going to be? And Sebastian might be able to close that wheel. I just saw a ghost. I just saw someone disappear. Who was it? It was Taylor. I just saw a ghost. It was Taylor. Taylor with 14 watts. You got to go with it. It's so late right now. And there's O'Malley. Back down to 2. O'Malley's just holding that wheel perfectly. He's holding Taylor. There goes O'Malley again at 900 watts. Back down to 200. Up to 500. He's all over the place. The variability is crazy. Taylor's going for it, though. He's going long. Is anyone on O'Malley's wheel? No one is on O'Malley's wheel, so it's going to be Taylor and O'Malley. They're going very long, these 2 riders. Heinonen is still there, though, and they're gaining speed. They're going 38 miles per hour. Is it going to be enough in time? And there's O'Malley. It's 2 seconds. They're working together. There's Heinonen. Here he comes at 10.1 and with the feather. I don't know who's it going to be. And there's O'Malley with his 13.1 right at the end. 12.8, 13.1. And here's Heinonen. Is he going to get it at the line? I don't know. It looked like O'Malley, but it might have been Heinonen at the end. And then I think Carl got 3rd, Copenhagen. So what a finish. We're going to have to check Zwift Power on those results. It was so close between O'Malley and Heinonen. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know. But awesome race. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the morning grind again. Bring your donuts. Bring your races. Same time, same place. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.